Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But Terence Crawford knows what.
Terence Crawford is gearing up for a career-defining showdown, determined to conquer Canelo Alvarez on the sport's grandest stage. Widely regarded as a generational talent, Crawford possesses a skill set so rare that even veteran analysts hesitate to predict his ceiling. With training footage beginning to surface, his intentions for a clash with Alvarez appear increasingly serious. His camp starts with precise shadowboxing, honing angles and timing, before progressing into high-intensity sparring sessions. These early glimpses reveal a laser-focused Crawford meticulously preparing for what may be the toughest challenge of his career. The growing anticipation is echoed by renowned trainer Robert Garcia, who weighs in on the possible mega fight. Garcia cautions against comparing Crawford to Floyd Mayweather, noting that Canelo was still young and inexperienced when he faced Mayweather. Still, Garcia predicts an electrifying battle, crediting Crawford's speed and footwork, while emphasizing that the two fighters bring completely different styles into the ring.
I think, Canelo was only 23, he was very young. I think this fight's gonna be great. I do see Crawford maybe pulling it off because he's got good footwork, good speed, but I don't think they're close. I don't similarize those two fights, Canelo and Floyd. I think they're just different styles. I mean, Floyd
sharing the sense of magnitude. Veteran commentator Jim Gray frames the potential matchup as one of boxing's most significant events. He stresses that elite fighters daring to move across weight divisions is vital to the sport's allure. At the same time, Gray acknowledges the unpredictability of the outcome, given Crawford's age and Canelo's wealth of experience. He envisions the fight becoming a blockbuster spectacle, possibly taking place in a sold-out Allegiant Stadium.
No, Terence Crawford is older, and Canelo has, twice as many rounds? So, I don't know how that combination ends up, the weight difference. Canelo's going to be a bigger man and a bigger front.
Expanding on his thoughts, Gray highlights Crawford's versatility, calling him a rare athlete capable of adjusting to any opponent. Yet, despite his admiration, Gray admits it's impossible to know whether Crawford's unique style will truly trouble Canelo, underscoring just how razor-thin the margins could be.
Canelo problems.
Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Offering a technical breakdown, former world champion Duke McKenzie hails Crawford as a special talent. He praises Crawford's seamless stance switches, drawing comparisons to the legendary Marvin Hagler, and points out how Crawford's unpredictable close-range angles could pose serious problems for Canelo, a fighter who thrives on rhythm and timing.
Big jump for Terence Crawford. Fighters like Crawford don't come along that often. Special fighters. You've got your world champions, then you've got your special world champions. Now, I haven't seen anybody, with the exception of the late, great Marvin Hagler, move as effortlessly from southpaw to orthodox. That kind of a style, speaking from experience, will give anybody nightmares. The worst thing you want to do, or the last thing you want to do as a fighter, is to fight a southpaw, full stop. But when you're southpaw...
Building on that point, McKenzie confidently predicts a Crawford victory. He critiques Canelo's recent performances, pointing out a noticeable dip in activity and an over-reliance on raw power. In Mackenzie's view, this fight could mark a turning point for Canelo's career. Meanwhile, Crawford's steady rise and increased strength at higher weight classes might propel him to a hard-fought decision win.
For me, I think he beats Canelo. I think Canelo's definitely slipping. I think his work rate has dropped off alarmingly. I think he relies on his power far too much. He can't ignite that spark anymore. It's probably far too much money for me, Canelo, and probably goes to bed in silk pajamas, as marvelous Marvin Hagler used to say. It's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and do your road work when you're wearing silk pajamas. So I think he's far too comfortable now. Like I say, there's only so many times you can go to the well, and you can talk a great fight. When the bell goes and his corner takes a step back, then he's faced with Crawford. Crawford will fight. Canelo's had the fight of his life. He's done that. That we've seen that fire ignited in him time and time again. I think this is that one fight too far for Canelo, and this is why Crawford is so confident about jumping up 2 weight divisions. He's saying to himself, you know what, it ain't really that big a deal, and it's probably not. And anybody will tell you that's moved through weight divisions, when you move through the weight divisions, you gain strength. You gain strength. I don't see Crawford slowing down. I see it as a good fight, a competitive fight. I don't think he stops Canelo, because nobody knocked Canelo out or knocked him down. But I see him beating.
Crawford himself frames this fight as potentially his final dance against an all-time great. He views Canelo as the last monumental name left to conquer, admitting that everything from his clinical dismantling of Errol Spence to his grueling past battles has led him to this ultimate challenge.
A fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, you know, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, you know, I chose to go up in weight and to actually try to conquer him from, you know, all his achievements in the division.
Reflecting candidly, Crawford attributes his success in the ring to his adaptable fighting style. While he respects Canelo's skill set, from his knockout power to his elite counterpunching, Crawford insists he must remain laser-focused for all 12 rounds. For him, the blueprint is straightforward. Trust his strengths and prepare with the same discipline that has carried him to the pinnacle of the sport.
Being able to be nimble. Now, obviously, we've talked about you moving up a weight class to fight Canelo. You've talked about the respect that you have for him, but what it is about his style and what he's been able to do that you respect the most?
Well, I just respect him as all. You know, he's a good to not say about him.
No, I got you. Now, with all of that, as you rattled off, we'll call it the scouting report, right? What will you have to do to be your best version in order to get this victory?
I think just be myself and just don't get careless in the ring, and, you know, stay sharp all 12 rounds if it goes 12 rounds. I think that's the only thing that, you know, I need to do, and make sure that it trains.
Initially skeptical, Chris Algieri admits his perspective on the fight has shifted due to evolving circumstances. Canelo's flat performance against Jermall Charlo, combined with Crawford's calm consistency, has forced many to reconsider their predictions. Algieri highlights Crawford's unmatched mental toughness, a trait that could tip the scales in his favor despite giving up size and strength.
More and more, I'm thinking that way. I'm just thinking, when this fight first came out, I was like, this is silly. You know, these guys are 3 weight classes apart. There's weight classes for a reason. They're both great fighters, but I don't see it. But as we're getting closer, coming off the back of Canelo's last performance against Skull, which left a lot to be desired, but also just seeing them around each other, and just I'm thinking about the psychology. I've seen Canelo Alvarez beaten mentally, psychologically. I've seen him broken. I've never seen Terence Crawford get bullied, broken, moved in any way. So that holds a lot of weight to me, psychology, because I think at the highest level, that really is the difference, is what's going on upstairs. So I can see it. I still probably lean towards Canelo Alvarez, but as we get closer.
Echoing this view, Keith Thurman believes Canelo's strategy will remain largely unchanged. That, he says, puts the responsibility on Crawford to adapt mid-fight. Thurman underscores the importance of jabs, footwork, and defensive angles, emphasizing that Crawford must frustrate Canelo in a similar way Charlo once did, while avoiding unnecessary punishment.
Like when Charlo got dropped, right? After he got dropped, he never got dropped again. And because he never got dropped again, there's evidence that a nice mover, keeping your hands up, you actually can not get hurt by Canelo. Now, that was not the keys to victory, because that was the keys of survival. But survival and tactics of not getting hit, the game of boxing is hit and not get hit.
Absolutely.
So to have the defense to use...
Likewise, Troy Nash believes Crawford has a real chance, though the road won't be easy. He points out Canelo's struggles against fighters who constantly move, but predicts Crawford won't simply evade. He'll engage with calculated precision. For Nash, this won't be a one-sided bout. It's a grueling war that Crawford can win through grit and patience.
That fight didn't really change my opinion or outlook on the fight at all. Canelo is still a great fighter. You know, anybody who moves the whole entire time in front of a fighter like Canelo's gonna have problems with him. Just really, it seemed like he couldn't get into no rhythm, you know, all night, and he just couldn't. He couldn't really do too much. But Crawford not gonna move like that. Crawford probably gonna sit there with him, and you know, it ain't gonna be a whole bunch of moving. So I still got the same outlook and same opinion on that fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I got Bud winning, but
Nash's confidence comes from firsthand experience. He recalls watching Crawford dominate top champions during sparring sessions, often competing around the 160-pound mark. These unseen moments, he says, prove just how intense and adaptable Crawford truly is, a level even Canelo might find difficult to match.
68, and Bud's in there really, you know, in control, dominating. And when I see stuff like that, and I've been seeing this for years, and when I see stuff like that, it just makes me think, man.
Taking a historical perspective, Showbiz the Adult offers thought-provoking comparisons. He references legends like Sam Langford, but insists that Crawford's quest is unique, pursuing an undisputed super middleweight title after beginning his career at lightweight. The ambition, he suggests, borders on mythical.
Tell me a fighter who has started their career at lightweight and fought a fight at super middleweight. Sam Langford. That was over 100 years ago. He fought Joe Gans. He fought the fireman Jim Flynn at heavyweight. Hell, he fought Jack Johnson. Sam Langford is ridiculous. Now, let's make it even more unlikely. Name a fighter who started at lightweight to fight for undisputed.
On a more practical note, Steven Espinoza draws attention to the fighter's recent activity. Canelo has been more active, while Crawford's periods of inactivity could raise questions. However, Espinoza also notes Crawford's proven ability to return sharp after layoffs, crediting the discipline of his Omaha-based camp. Even so, he leans slightly toward Canelo, citing weight and experience as deciding factors.
Camp that he does, you know, there in Omaha. Look, personally, I think you've got to go with Canelo just because he is a pound-for-pound fighter, and he's got the weight advantage, and he's more natural at this weight. But you know, that's just the tiebreaker. I mean, obviously you've got 2 pound-for-pound fighters with a high-level skill set, and another one, but you know, until you see them in the ring and how they take each other's punches, no one.
Offering a fresh take, Carmel Moughton calls this fight a true 50-50. In his view, it's one of those rare matchups where predictions mean little. The outcome will hinge entirely on who performs on the night. For Moughton, the real winners will be the fans, regardless of who has their hand raised.
Well, it's a big jump for sure, but you know, I feel like Crawford definitely has a great chance. You know, I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. You know, I really don't know who will come out on top of that one. I just feel like the better man that night will win. So you know, I feel like the fans are the winners in that one.
Super middleweight contender Diego Pacheco offers a concise tactical breakdown. He gives Canelo the clear edge in power, willingness to take risks, and overall resume, but credits Crawford with superior ring IQ, speed, and defense. Interestingly, Pacheco predicts that Canelo may retire first, hinting at a possible generational shift in boxing's hierarchy.
Best skills?
Crawford.
Better resume?
Canelo.
Better defense?
Crawford.
Better offense?
Canelo.
Higher ring IQ?
I say Crawford.
Better chin?
Canelo.
Faster hands?
Crawford.
Better at trash talking?
Canelo.
Who would you rather train you?
Probably Canelo.
Who is higher on your pound for
Boxing legend Shane Mosley shifts the discussion back to size, an often overlooked factor. He argues that while Crawford is exceptionally skilled, Canelo's natural strength at 168 pounds creates a gap too wide to ignore. Mosley bluntly predicts that this size advantage will allow Canelo to secure a relatively straightforward victory.
Mistake him as being just a guy at 168, not a regular guy, and Crawford being the more talented. But that's not the case. They're both talented. Yeah. But the only thing is, Canelo has them by two-weight division. So I think that Canelo beats him pretty.
With the Crawford-Canelo fight now confirmed, Manny Pacquiao shares his perspective, believing Crawford's best path to victory lies in his speed. Acknowledging Canelo's size advantage, Pacquiao stresses that Crawford must maintain and enhance his quickness and footwork, since adding weight often dulls agility. He also advises Crawford to build strength without sacrificing that trademark speed, an essential balance to counter Canelo's physical power.
Good fight. Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and
Joe Rogan, a longtime admirer of Crawford, offers a more nuanced view. He praises Crawford as the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler and respects his daring ambition to face Canelo. Rogan also points out signs that Canelo may be slowing down, suggesting the fight could hinge on whether Crawford can exploit Canelo's decreased output and reliance on single power shots.
Can't do something he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter.
Rounding out the chorus of expert opinions, David Benavidez acknowledges the high stakes, but refuses to count Crawford out. He cites Crawford's brilliant ring, IQ, and unshakable mental toughness, particularly in big fights like his dismantling of Errol Spence. For Benavidez, no outcome would be shocking. This is more than a fight. It's a collision of greatness that could swing either way once the first bell rings.
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68? I
don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah.
As anticipation reaches a fever pitch, fans are left to imagine the fireworks Crawford and Canelo might unleash. With legacy, history, and pound-for-pound supremacy on the line, this showdown promises to be unforgettable. Don't blink. This is the fight boxing has been waiting for.